Hey guys! Welcome back to Stocks Around Us with Me Pizza. Today we're going to visit a drugs company. But before we get to that, I'd like to share with you guys some of the key and latest trends within the health and pharmaceuticals industry, just so that everybody is up to speed. First of all, seeing that we do everything on our smartphones these days, we now have smart health for the smartphone society. With all the wearable technology and apps out there, you can keep track of your health 24/7. Maybe in the future, even your doctors can keep track of your health records in real time. Although that is actually quite a scary thought. Trend number 2, pharmerging markets. These are emerging markets like us contributing more innovation to the pharmaceuticals industry now more than ever. Trend number 3, collaborate to innovate. More and more pharmaceutical firms are joining together to work on different products and services. Who says competitors can't be partners, right? So trend number 4 is more mergers and acquisitions, which brings us to trend number 5, more frequent product launches, thanks to all the innovation. And that's why today we are here to learn more from one of Malaysia's largest pharmaceuticals manufacturer. Ladies and gentlemen, CCM Duopharma Biotech Berhad. CCM Duopharma is a holding company that does manufacturing, distributing, and importing and exporting of pharmaceutical products and medicines. It offers a range of products such as tablets, capsules, syrups, oral antibiotics, creams, and other products for hospital use. For example, insulin for diabetic patients, hemodialysis solutions, which is a solution that is used in the process of purifying the blood of a person whose kidneys are not working normally. CCM also offers sterile irrigation solutions and sterile powder injectables. These are used to help make injection products stable when they're made into a liquid preparation. In addition, they make eye drop preparations and dental cartridges, which are used with a syringe for anesthesia or other solutions for patients' dental care. These are all quite specialized prescriptive drugs and healthcare materials. However, the company also offers over-the-counter products that range from dermatology products to first aid, children's vitamins, to pain relievers. Throughout the year, CCM Duopharma has focused on R&D with a number of research organizations and made several strategic acquisitions, mainly acquiring pharmaceutical units from their parent company to help expand their capacity and product offerings to better suit with the consumers. With regional offices in Singapore, Indonesia, and Philippines, CCM Duopharma is able to support customers around Southeast Asia and expand their export markets to places like Ethiopia, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Hong Kong, and many more. So guys, did you know that globally, the annual spending of the pharmaceuticals industry is 5 times greater than the defense and aerospace industries? That is a lot of money into developing drugs. Anyways, here to talk more about the company and the industry is our special guest. Hi Leonard, very nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you as well.
Thank you for having us at your facility.
My pleasure.
So first of all, I'd like to ask you about the industry in general. How is the pharmaceuticals industry performing globally and within Malaysia itself?
Right. Pharmaceutical industry globally, we'll start global before I go domestic, but globally it's in a state of flux. There's a lot of acquisitions. There's been recently some really large pharmaceutical acquisitions. So among the innovators, we see a lot of consolidation occurring at a global level. Domestically, it's been it's one of those industries which is actually relatively stable insofar as, irrespective whatever happens, we still have the same level of diseases, sicknesses, and long-term issues in Malaysia. So we have an undercurrent of stable growth in Malaysia, and it's been going along the same pathway, probably over the last 5 to 10 years, stable growth on an annual basis.
Right, and you operate in many markets, right? What are the main markets that you're operating in?
Okay, in total, CCM Duopharma actually exports to 27 different countries, but our primary focus tends to be ASEAN. So we do operate in Philippines, in Singapore, in Brunei, and we're now expanding our footprints further now.
So in these markets, which market do you foresee that having a high growth potential and high demand? Which of these markets?
The pharmaceutical market tends to be driven by population size. So without a doubt, you have Indonesia, probably followed by Thailand, Philippines, etc. In the whole scheme of things, Malaysia tends to be a relatively small market with a 28 million population. But generally, that's one of the reasons why we're driving to try to get a larger footprint across ASEAN.
Right, and what is your outlook on the ASEAN pharmaceutical industry?
I'm bullish. Recently, we've managed to get some level of cohesion within ASEAN in terms of the dossier presentations. So the new ACTD format that was agreed a few years back is now well in its process. And hopefully we get to a stage where registration of a drug in one country in ASEAN will allow us to register throughout the whole ASEAN footprint as well.
So it becomes very easy.
It becomes
afterwards.
easier.
Right.
Nothing's very easy.
Right. So where do you rank in the Malaysian market?
Okay. The company that actually captures the ranking mechanism in Malaysia is a company called IMS. So based on the September ranking, we're number one in terms of volume, total sales, and we're number 6 in terms of value. Now, the 5 companies ahead of us are all multinationals. So if you're talking about a Malaysian company, we're the number 1 highest value and also highest volume in Malaysia at the moment.
Right.
Okay.
So since you sell so many different products
Yes.
in many different categories of pharmaceutical products, can you categorize them for us and tell us about their revenue contribution and profits?
Okay. Generally, the way we arrange our portfolio of products in terms of, we always look to seek for a balance. The biggest consumer of generic medicines in Malaysia tends to be the government sector. They consume about 60%. So in CCM Duopharma in totality, about 40% of our sales actually go into the government sector. Another 45% goes into the private market sector, and the balance is actually exported. We're exporting around about 10 to 15% of our total revenue today. And within that sector, we also have ethical and over-the-counter products as well. So our over-the-counter products at the moment is about 20% of revenue, and the balance is effectively ethical products. So our revenue this year, we estimate to finish around about 300 million plus ringgit worth of turnover.
Right, so the key is the ethical products. That
Still continues to be the ethical driven. They still contribute about 75% of our total revenue. And moving forward, we're looking at participating a lot more in the biotherapy sector.
What is the biotherapy sector exactly?
Okay, unlike the ethical products that we manufacture traditionally, which are effectively chemical mixtures, the biotherapy actually comes from live cells, originated from live cells. So it's a slightly different manufacturing process, but we believe in Duopharma that our skill base in managing sterile environments allow us to then move into this new area as well, which potentially is growing a lot faster than the normal pharmaceutical sector.
What type of products are we looking at when it comes to biotherapeutics?
There's a few we're doing. We're in the middle of a clinical trial for erythropoietin, which is used for end-stage renal failure. We're working with an Indian company called Biocon, who's putting up a facility in Malaysia, and we're their marketing agents for them. We're working very closely with a Korean partner by the name of Pengen Biotech, and that's in relation to additional products in our pipeline. So we're looking at, if you wanted to characterize everything, into protein therapeutics.
I see. So this is a new and growing field.
It's an absolutely new area for
Right.
CCM, and it's an area that strategically we started looking at about 4 or 5 years ago. So we're well into the process of a lot of the clinical studies. Investments have been already expended, and we hope to have the first product out, at least in terms of the clinical study product, by 2017, late 2017.
I see. And talking about, you say that you sell a lot to government hospitals. So how do you get these contracts to sell? How does that work?
Okay. To understand that first, you have to understand that the Malaysian pharmaceutical industry is actually very, very open in the sense that as long as you meet the various requirements, anybody can register in Malaysia, as long as you meet the regulatory authorities' requirements. So as far as the government contracts are concerned, once you achieve registration, you can then participate, any party can participate into government contracts. And that tends to be 2 types of contracts. You have a contract that goes for 3 years, and then there's this another contract which we call the Ministry of Health contracts that operate for 2 years. So it's all an open tender process.
So where would you say is your competitive advantage?
Well, one of the advantages that CCM Duopharma has is because of the Malaysian population of 28 million, we're very good at small batch manufacturing. The site we're on today, which is our Bangi facility, that specializes in large batch manufacturing, but we have another site in Klang that tends to do small batch manufacturing. So that's one competitive advantage. Secondly, our control of costs is very, very strong. We've been implementing Lean Six Sigma and some operational efficiency programs over the course of the last 4 or 5 years quite successfully. And the other way we manage costs is almost the entire range of products that we purchase into the company is done on an open tender basis. So that's allowed us to actually manage our costs quite well.
Right. And having acquired many of the pharmaceutical businesses that you're associated with, what is your growth strategy moving forward?
We have a target. I think one, as I said, it all goes back to where we start from. The Malaysian market is relatively small. We see ASEAN as a single market, and the potential for ASEAN is actually quite huge. And if you look at the consumption of drugs in all the ASEAN countries outside of Singapore, it's actually lower than countries or regions outside of Asia. So if you look at Australia or in Europe or in the US, so we see a lot of upward potential. But for CCM Duopharma, it's important that we increase our sales beyond just Malaysian market. We're already successful in Singapore and to a degree in Philippines as well. We're looking at Indonesia, and we're not adverse to the idea of also acquisitions as well moving forward as well.
Right. Well, thank you so much for today, Leonard.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. Likewise.
Financial highlights. At the end of 2014, CCM Duopharma's revenue was over 170 million ringgits, or 1.7 billion baht, growing by 43% from 2009. Its net profit was over 35 million ringgits, or 350 million baht, growing by 17%. Its net profit margin was about 20% and ROE at 18.7%. Its PE was at 9.8 and PBV 1.8. At the end of 2014, CCM Duopharma's share price was at 2.5 ringgits, or 25 baht, growing by 6% from 2009. Its market cap was over 340 million ringgits, or 3.4 billion baht, growing by 5%. Ladies and gentlemen, that was CCM Duopharma. Join us again next time for more company highlights with Me Pizza. See you guys later!